Okay, we looked first at some things. Now we're going to go into part two, and we're going to show you another method on how we are scalping Forex using the QuickView. As we saw before, we had the chart. We looked at the move here by grabbing this major support area and going with it. We set a stop underneath a level that we can't see. It was at 108.08. I didn't take the liberty of putting the line in because it was irrelevant to that day, so I didn't put the line in, but it was at 108.08. We don't need to recap that much. Let's talk about this second method of doing things here, and just a recap also on the last entry that we made. The only reason why we went long was because of the trend line. Just grabbing the long at that point is not the entry. It's the notification, but not the entry. When we're doing a long in this direction, that is not the entry, because it can just tear right through it. It's possible to bust right through it. So that's why we used the trend line to make confirmation to go with that long. Okay, now let's move on to the next method that we use. And basically it's used based on momentum. The other one was based on support or resistance. This is the momentum of a move we're going to take advantage of. For example, here, when we closed above this point here, we had confirmation that there was strength. Okay, now what we do, let's say that we finished this move here, we took a piece off. We can also set on charts. Many of the charts that brokers have will allow you to send alerts as well. This time, this one is not directly from your broker, it's from the chart. So what you have to do is you have to leave your chart open. It has to be running, and you have to be connected to the internet, of course. And you have to leave the chart running, and you can't change it from 15-minute to an hour or whatever. It has to be a 15-minute chart on the pair that you want to, that you're scalping. Okay, so what you do is that you would set up on your charts. Many charts will allow you to do this, where it will send a signal when something happens on this chart. Here, this horizontal line would be your point of reference. When you get a close above this line, once this new candle starts, it sends out a message to your cell phone saying, hey, the criteria has been met. We had a close on this 15-minute chart that closed above this trend line at 108.83. So you get the signal, and you come in here and you look and you say, yes, by golly, sure did. It closed above the trend line. Now I want to take a long. I want it to come back and touch this trend line again, and I'll take a long. Well, this time we're not necessarily worrying so much about the trend line, other than for possibly support or a place to take a stop. So what we have to do is we have to deal with it from where it is, which is here. Now, it's hard to decide, well, where is that, where are you going to stop? Well, you could stop underneath the point at which it broke from that trend line, which would be roughly around 108.65. But better yet, because we didn't really establish a good point of a place to make a stop, we can use another technique from our technique in learning how to use market profiles. In a market profile, when you have an area where it doesn't spend very much time in an area, like right in here, this is letting us know that if it breaks past there, then it's probably going back to the other side of the barrier. This is a barrier, this gray area I drew, because this is a point at which there was not, that the price did not spend very much time there. Okay, and notice how it came down and touched the top of that area to bounce forward again. So we can consider this as a good place to hide underneath if we're going long at this point of 108.83. So we would get underneath it by getting underneath this candle, which is underneath this barrier. And this low for this is 108.63, which is a 20 pip difference. So we take another pip or two to hide under there around 108.60 or so, a 23 pip risk. But look at the reward that we're shooting for. I mean, that's a very large vacuum. Okay, there's nothing resisting us in here. And as you can see, once we got that close, we came back and touched it. We were flying through here. 1 hour, 2 hours, within 2 hours, less than 2 hours later, we're hitting that target, that ultimate target of 109.68 for a nice 70, 80, a little over 80 pip gain. And that's great when you're scalping, you know, because a lot of scalpers are looking for a 25, 35 pip gain at the most, you know. So this is great, and that's exactly what happened. And the trend line, we could have used the trend line as well. So this is the second method that we use, and it's pretty much the better method, the momentum method. Actually, I shouldn't say better, because both of them are just as valid as the other. I say it simply because it's a favorite. I favor it more. Okay, so there you have it. That's the second method in doing the scalping with the QuickView. I'm going to show you another move after on part 3.